All right, 14:20 in the afternoon, up and running. Technical problems are temporary. Please don't adjust your set. Here we go. Our second edition of 14:20 in the afternoon on this Tuesday afternoon, August the 12th, 2025. Today's show, as always, is brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420SEAT at SeatGeek.com today and save yourself $20 on your first purchase over there at SeatGeek. Remember, we are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Go to bellyupsports.com for all their great articles and other great podcasts, such as the Corner Booth podcast, the fantasy baseball and fantasy football, fantasy sports in general, with my main man, Vince Stover, the silky smooth sounds of Vince Stover, and recording later on tonight, the guys over there at Craft Brewed Sports. There it is. And thank you, everybody who's been listening to yesterday's show on the podcast forum. Remember, we are up on YouTube as always. If you're watching on YouTube right now, like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff, and hit the alert button so you know when you can find our stuff over there on YouTube and on Facebook and everywhere else. But anyways, yesterday I was doing some research, and it kind of made me like, holy cripes, I'm getting a little bit old. But 31 years ago yesterday, Randy Johnson of the Seattle Mariners struck out some guy. I can't remember. I should probably remember the guy's name, but he struck out a guy at 10:30, whatever it was, Mountain Standard Time, Pacific Time out there in Seattle. And that was the last pitch of the 1994 Major League Baseball season. That nobody really knew at the time it was going to be the last pitch of that season, but that's kind of just the way it all turned out. Everybody knows, if you're a certain vintage, everybody knows that the Montreal Expos were in a spot to maybe get themselves through a World Series. The Yankees were having a good year that year as well, but it was the Montreal Expos who was their World Series to lose, and basically they ended up losing even a chance to get the World Series because the players went on strike for what they thought was right, and then that was it. The season was called to an abrupt end shortly thereafter, and they canceled the World Series, and that was it for Major League Baseball. And I kind of got thinking about that could happen in the next couple of years, or after the 2026 season. That's it for the collective bargaining agreement between the players of Major League Baseball and the owners for what they have going on. And by all intent and purpose, this one's going to get ugly early, and it's too bad because the game of baseball is in a pretty good spot right now. Buildings are full. There's some teams that you wouldn't really suspect to be doing as well as they are. Smaller markets. I don't want to say small markets because they're all great big cities in comparison to where I grew up and to where I live now. But the Milwaukee Brewers are one of the best teams in baseball. Probably would have been unheard of, but they got everything going on for them. But there's a lot of teams that are crying foul, and they're crying that they got no money. And then you got the players who are crying, well, you know what? We don't trust who you are. We don't trust how this is going to go. So they're basically saying we will never agree to a salary cap. There's no way that's going to ever happen. The players want at least a salary floor, which I think you're going to get. But the players have basically said there's no way in God's green earth you're ever going to get a salary cap. The players are making a lot of money, more than they've ever made before, and so there it is. They'd say no mas, and that's going to be it, and that's going to be a stalemate. They won't be able to get by. So the chances are there's going to be a lockout that they won't be able to avoid. I remember a few weeks back you had Bryce Harper of the Philadelphia Phillies. He got in a major discussion, heated dispute, some would say, with Rob Manfred, the commissioner of Major League Baseball, saying that, you know what, this isn't going to work for us, not going to work for you, and we're done. We aren't going to have this happening, and we'll never accept a salary cap. We don't trust the owners. We don't trust because Manfred works for the owners, and the dispute came about that no one's going to do anything about it. It's sad to say that that's going to be the way that the baseball is going to go about doing things, but I think that's the way they're going to go about doing things. And there's nothing you can do about it, and there's nothing that anybody can say about it, because I think that you have the wrong people. Now, this is just me speaking. I think you have the wrong people going to the bargaining table when it comes to the players. I think you have the wrong people coming to the table when it comes to the ownership group. With players, when you have people like well, I'll use Bryce Harper and his $28 million or $30 million contract going to the table and crying foul, and we're not going to accept a cap. I think it should probably be somebody who's making, I don't know, league minimum, saying, or might have only a few years of actual major league time on their hands, of service time on their hands, that they should maybe be the ones being to go to the bargaining table and saying, hey, it's the little guys that's struggling. The Bryce Harpers of the world, the Juan Soto's of the world, yeah, because the agreement has benefited them immensely, obviously, with those massive contracts, those long-term contracts. But they're not the ones who are going to be hurting 2 and 3 and 4 years down the road, or even a year or two down the road when the season stops and then there's no paychecks coming in. It's the big dog; they'll be fine. It's the guys who are just getting into the big leagues, the guys who are on their first contracts. They're the ones that should be saying, "Hey, maybe we should look after the little guy here a little bit. You guys are fine." Maybe when the Players Association gets together, they should say, "Hey, what's actually going on here?" And because you probably have a lot of guys who aren't saying much because they're new. They're not saying much because they don't want to upset the apple cart. They don't want to upset anything, so they're not saying anything because they're just happy to be there. But they're the ones that are going to suffer in the long run when there's no season. I remember in I think it was the 2004 lockout or the 1994 one, or with the National Hockey League. National Hockey League said we'll never. The players said we'll never ever accept a salary cap. So they sat out the season. It was 2001. I have it written down here somewhere. The 2004-2005 season, where the players said they were never going to accept a cap. So a lot of those guys lost out on a lot of money for an entire year. And some guys' careers came to an abrupt end that they're never going to recoup that money. Like there was some guys, maybe if you're making $3 million a year and they didn't get any of that money at all, and then they had to pay escrow, but they were assured that there was going to be no salary cap. And lo and behold, they accepted salary cap because the owners were like, you're taking it. We're the owners, and you're the players. You're the employees. If you don't like it, don't play it. You don't play because you have a lot of owners. They say, and I don't know the truth to this, and it makes a guy a little bit crazy. But they say that they would save money by not playing. They would make more by not playing because the exorbitant contracts that they have, and some guys say that they don't have great TV deals, but the money going out is more than the money coming in, and that's a major problem. Are there teams that have that problem? Yeah. Are there teams that perpetuate that problem? Yes. Are there teams that overspend with the hopes to win a championship? Yeah. Are there teams that overspend just because it's a shiny new toy or a shiny toy that they have in their mantle? Probably. But there's all kinds of different businessmen out there who are hurting the sport. If there was a salary cap, like the luxury tax thing, the teams that are going over it every year, they don't seem to care. They don't care at all. So that luxury tax system that Major League Baseball has right now, sure, it's great for the Yankees and the Dodgers, and the Phillies are $315 to $320 million. So it's really helping them, and they contend every year and they have a chance to win something. But teams, the mid-tier teams like the Kansas City Royals and the well, I don't want to put the Pirates in there because they're that's an embarrassment altogether. But there's a lot of mid-tier teams who just can't compete, and they can't even think about going to get free agents. They got to try to build through the draft, but you build through the draft, you don't know what you're getting. So the salary cap is only for the owners to protect against themselves and protect against overspending when they shouldn't have to. Like you look at, I said in the very first podcast that I did back in 2000 August. I get for some reason I get those messed up, but August of 2020, when after the very first one, when the Mets got the new ownership with Steve Cohen, I said this is going to change baseball completely and going to send it on its ears, and it kind of has. He went out and got Soto, $765 million. Is that too much money? Yeah. But he offered, and of course Soto's going to take it. Was anyone else going to offer that? No. The Yankees apparently offered 49 or whatever it was, and Cohen it doesn't matter what it was going to be. Was there other takers? Was there other people? Yeah, but it was Soto going anywhere else but 2 teams or 3 teams? Probably not. So, and that's inherently a problem when you have the best guys going to the best team all the time. The little guy can't compete. There has to be a happy medium in there somewhere with a salary floor and a salary cap. I'm not saying get rid of the free market for these owners to say, you know what, if I'm filling the building every year like the Dodgers do, is that fine? Yeah. People don't pay to watch a losing team. You look at in Toronto right now; they're cock of the walk right now out there in Ontario because they got a really good team that's going to do some probably make the playoffs. They'd have to be an epic collapse of some kind for them to not make the playoffs. But they're in a situation right now where ticket prices are going high. Like the secondary market is high. Everything is pointing in the right direction for the Jays, and they're going to make more money this year than they did last. And so that's what a free market business should be, and it should work that way for the owners or for the players as well. You shouldn't be able to cap somebody's earning potential. I mean, it's unheard of money that people can only dream of making. But is it logical? Is it to the common man? It's not. But is it fair to say, you know what, you can't make for X amount of years, you can't make as much as humanly possible, and these guys are. But why not get more? Like in a few years, Soto's contract's going to be, well, there's going to be somebody else. Like when Tariq Stubble or Paul Skeens get their chance to be free agents, what kind of money are they going to get? Like, what kind of money are they going to get in the free agent market? Because pitchers in general usually make more money. Is it sustainable? No. Is it going to take Detroit out of the running? Maybe. Is it going to take Pittsburgh out of the running for Skeens? 100% it will. 100% it will. Would they be better off right now to be trading a guy like Skeens? Yeah. Get some return on your investment. They're not winning anything anytime soon. So why not load up on prospects, which you guys all know. I don't believe in prospects. Prospects just another player you hope turns out okay. Is he better than what they got? No. But the way that the market's set up, the other teams can't compete. They can't compete with the dollar signs. It's not right. The other thing that comes up is like you got some guys like in the Ohtani deal with it's all deferred money. It's only $1 million a year to the Dodgers. So they can load up on everything. They got deferred money all over the place. So if there was a cap situation, they can get rid of a player here and a player there, and all of a sudden they're going to be okay because they've had the best accountants. They figured things out and they know what they can do. They know what they can pull off in the very near future. So maybe they've been setting themselves up to succeed as well. It's going to be interesting to see how they're going to pull this off because you have a lot of teams that haven't been dotting the I's and crossing the T's. You have a ton of teams that aren't doing that because you're in a win now mode so much. So you got to load up, and if you have a $315 million payroll like the Yankees do, what happens next year or 2 years from now when they say, you know what, there's going to be a cap of $205 million. I'm just throwing numbers out there. They're just numbers. They don't mean anything. I haven't done that much research. It's not our style here at the 1420 Sports Bar. But how do the Yankees get below that cap? Do they got to cut this guy, get rid of this guy, get rid of cap space here? And if other teams got to get to say 150 million or 140 million, how do they do it if they already don't have any money? Allegedly. It's going to be a bit of a mess, and you don't wonder how it's all going to turn out. But when players say that they're not going to be taking a hit, or they're just not going to, when the owners go, all right. I mean, it's not like the Steinbrenners. Yeah, they like making money, but if they say, well, we're not paying you, or we can't pay you, they're not spending any, they're not making any. Like how much they make a year? $1 billion? I don't know. It's got to be an absorbent amount of money to have a payroll of $315 million. If you're spending $315 million on just your employees, and that doesn't even count your game day staff, and on it goes, and everything goes with owning a baseball team. If your employees are making, let's put another $1 million or $2 million or whatever it is, actually be more with your management, because they'll get rid of all the analytics guys, they'll get rid of all those guys. So let's say you're spending $330 million. Yeah, well, okay, if we take a hit for a couple of years and they say, you know what, we're just not doing it. Sure, they didn't make any, but they didn't lose any either. They'll be fine. It's going to be an absolute mess. And you go back to the days when the players weren't making that much money. Was sport better? Maybe. When nobody knew what anybody was making. I remember back in the 80s and the 90s, he didn't know what anyone was making. And then one day, I think it was David Fair, or David Fair, I think. He was the Fair was his last name. He went Major League Baseball to the National Hockey League. He took care of the Players Association. And he said, disclose how much money you each make. Tell everybody what you make, because it was always hush-hush for the Eagleson days back in the day. Nobody knew or nobody cared what anybody made. So then when he came out and said, let people know what you make, because you're going to find out that this guy's making more than you, and you're better than that. You're better than that player. So it just escalated the market exponentially in a short period of time in all sports. When every player got to find out what everybody else was making, and it was full disclosure, that's when the rubber hit the road. That's when salaries went crazy, because the owners actually just kept it all hush-hush. You didn't talk about it amongst your teammates. You didn't talk about it amongst this guy. It was always hearsay what guys were making. But as soon as each player got to know what each guy was making, that's when the agents swooped in and say, my guy's better than that guy. That's when the analytical stats came in. My guy does this better than that guy. Why isn't he making more? And now that I don't want to say capped out because there's always more money with these big market teams. But now that you have all this extra money kicking around and they've all got it, now players trust owners even less than they ever have. Because everybody knows what these streaming deals are. Everybody knows what these cable deals are. They know what they're making on merchandise. Like when you're selling hats for $60-$70 a piece and everybody's got one on, well, there's some money out there. I know there's revenue sharing and everything else, but there's some money being made out there. That's why the players don't trust the owners. So the players are going to sit there and say, we're not taking a cap. We're not. Why would we take it now? You guys have been lying to us for how long? You're not even telling us the truth now. Open your books up and then we'll get something done. But because there's such a distrust with ownership and everything else, players just don't trust the owners to tell the truth and get something done in any kind of due process. There's no way there's no way that it's a sustainable business model for these smaller market or mid-market teams. And then what happens to Oakland? Like when this is all said and done in Oakland or Las Vegas, when they don't even know what kind of team they're going to have or where they're playing in 2 years, how do you dip into the free agent market? How do you have any kind of team or anybody saying, I'll stay here, I'll take a contract? You know, you're going to get nobody's. So your team's going to be bad because it's not a logical way to go about doing things. There's no way that the Las Vegas or Sacramento A's or whatever are going to be a sustainable team in 2 years. And sure, it'll be a shiny new toy in Vegas the first year if they end up going there. Because there's all kinds of stories that they're not. Read something last week that all they're doing out there in Vegas on the old Tropicana site is just having excavators moving dirt around, making it look like they're doing something. That's all they're doing. There's no deal set in stone yet. Fisher hasn't signed a deal. He's waiting for more money from other people. He's the crookedest guy in sports or in baseball anyways. And what's it going to do to teams? And is it going to make it the competitive balance? What's it going to do? There's already the have and have not. So like, is it getting any better with all this deferred money? Because there'll still be deferred money. The Dodgers still have the most money. Is it going to be fair? No. I don't know if the cap is should there be a cap? Yeah. Should there be a floor? I think the floor is more important. Make them get to a certain point. The NHL has it. And there's already enough parity in the league without these salary caps. Like how winning a World Series once is tough, let alone twice. All of this parity, like all of this crap that they're saying, like it's everybody. And then now you're going to have a thing now as well. And I just thought of this one because there's these team have and have nots so much. When you draft a kid out of college, is he going to go? NIL money's eventually got to leave college. Can't be Van Wilder or whatever that was. Eventually, you got to figure something out. But these guys who might get drafted first overall, so you know what? I can make more money in college for 1, 2, maybe 3 more years. Will my arm last? Probably not. But I can make more money in college than having to go with it with a rookie salary. There already is a rookie cap, but even more, it'll probably be even less. And the signing bonuses on and on it'll go. You're going to have even less players available. So now you're going to have really good players saying, I'm not signing there. I'm not doing it. I'm not sacrificing my career or my earning potential for this. It's this long. I'm not going to sacrifice that for this owner who's not going to spend any money. I'm just not. Is it their dream to get to the big leagues? Yeah. But if they're good enough, they'll eventually get there. You're going to see all kinds of problems with this salary cap and how it's going to work out with the labor board or with the labor unions and everything else. Because I think it's the wrong voices, the wrong people talking about it. The other guys are going to be fine. The Bryce Harpers and the Juan Sotos and the Aaron Judges of the world, are they going to fight for their brotherhoods and their brothers in the union? They might, but they also might not. Are they looking out for the little guy? Probably not, because it's all about the cap. How much can this guy make? Will the little guy make more? A little bit. But there's such a disparity in salaries already. Huge disparity in salaries already. You just wonder how it's all going to play out, because it's not going to be pretty. If you have X amount of owners saying we just can't do it. We can't do it. It all comes down to a majority vote, I'm sure. I'm sure like all owners, the Dodgers don't care if there's a salary cap. They're like, all right, sure. Or they might be, no way. We don't want one. We want to fill our building because the more they win, the more people come, and Chavez Ravine is full every night. Has been for years. Packed. They spend the most. They win the most. Did they win the most World Series? No. But they won one last year, finally. So how much money did they make? Every World Series, like you think about all those World Series that get won over the years, and what kind of a leash that gives franchises. Huge leash. Look at the Cubs. They were dog shit for how long? 20 minutes and 31 seconds. How long were they bad? Win a World Series. Now they're back in the loop of things again. They're playing the really good Jays team right now, or this weekend, or this week. But you look at that. That gives you a huge leash. That'll sell more tickets. That'll sell more beer. That'll sell more hot dogs. That'll sell more merchandise in your building if you win that World Series. So the investment in your team only makes sense. But some teams can't do it. Build through the draft. Can't. You don't know how long these arms going to last. You don't. You hate to talk about labor, but I love the game of baseball so much. I love watching games, but eventually it could come down to after the 2026 season. That's it. There might not be baseball. And if they stop it, it might go on for a long time because the owners are rich. They have a lot of money. And at the end of the day, the players are just employees. And like in 2004 and 2005, when the NHL players said, we aren't leaving. Like we're digging our heels in. We'll never accept a cap. But guess what they did? Because some guys run out of money and got to get back out there. They accepted a cap, and it was just that. So my advice to you is Major League Baseball players, sign the deal they're offering you because you ain't going to get a better one. And the little guys got, like, if they're, and I've always thought this, and like the franchise tag, I never really made a bunch of sense to me. But what I think they should do is if you draft and develop a player, if you draft a guy in the first round, he goes through your minor league system or 10th round or whatever it might be, and he ends up being your star player, Mike Trout or the Aaron Judges or the Juan Soto's of the world. Well, Soto didn't get drafted by the Mets, obviously. But if you draft and develop a player, you should be able to give that one guy as much as humanly possible. And that's your guy, you can give him $100 million, like in Edmonton with McDavid. How much is he going to get? The cap's going to go up a little bit every year. He's worth, NHL terms, probably double what he's going to get paid. He's probably worth $30 million. Not going to get it because of a cap. But they should be able to pay that one guy that much money, pay that guy that much money because he's your franchise guy. And your franchise guy should be making whatever you want to pay him. Whatever you want to pay him, give it to him. Give it that one guy. And that doesn't go against your cap, nothing. So then that gives you your roster will shrink down the amount of people you're going to pay. That would force people to draft and develop and not just go out and buy free agents. That's one way of doing it. But it's going to be interesting to see how the Dodgers and the Yankees and all these high-priced teams, because the cap's coming, the owners are going to dig their heels in and say, you guys are employees. You're just an employee. And if we're not making any money and we're going to save money by not playing, and there's a number of teams that are going to cry foul, they'll have to open the books. There'll be arbitrators and all that lawyer speak. But at the end of the day, they're just employees. And the owners are going to run the roost. It's going to get ugly. It won't be pretty, and I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I will be. Speaking of, get off the business end of the sports world, but I was listening to the Michael K. show earlier on this afternoon, doing some yard work. First time I got around to doing it this summer. Busy with all the baseball and things, but I was listening to Michael K. show, and I had to laugh because you guys all know who listen to the show on a consistent basis how I don't care about captains in the world of professional or in baseball. It's ridiculous. Well, he brought up the same thing about Aaron Judge, and then he actually last week when I thought it was who was it? Kansas City. I thought it was Bobby Witt Jr. The only other team in Major League Baseball that actually has a captain is is the Kansas City Royals, but it's Salvador Perez, longtime catcher and all-around good guy. He was there on the World Series team in 2015, I think it was. He's been around, so it's the only other team that has a captain, and he thought the same thing. He says it's ridiculous to even think that the captain matters anything in baseball. So maybe Michael K listens to the 1420 Sports Bar podcast, Four Beer Sports Talk, and a whole lot more. And then he actually brought up something funny as well, and these are Brent originals, and it's not even a thing that has anything to do with baseball as much as it does just human beings in general. The more times you put human beings involved in something, the more chance they have to screw things up. And he basically said the same thing, or he did say the same thing, this having X amount of relievers and your starters only going 5 innings, it's not sustainable. Because if you got to get innings 6, 7, 8, and 9 out of your bullpen on a daily basis, eventually you're going to run out of arms and run out of opportunities. You got to get at least 7 innings out of your pitcher, or 6 2/3, wherever it might be, because then you only have to put the ball in 2 more people's hands. If you're going into 4 more people's hands, you're going to screw things up, because when people get a chance to screw things up, they do. So it's just simple. It's just simple human logic. It's just simple logic that human beings will screw something up. And Michael K reiterated what I had to say on the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. So maybe he listens to the show before he gets going on his afternoon show out there in New York City. I highly doubt it, but a guy can dream, can't he? Anyways, we'll get to Brent's Best Bets, brought to you by Bodog. You still got time to go out and make a bet. If you're going to play, make sure you play smart. Play and don't bet more than you can afford. Play smart, but it's just one of those things. We'll have a link up later on in the description. But tonight I got the Cubs in Toronto, Minnesota, the Yankees, and the Mariners, the red hot Seattle Mariners in Baltimore. Take the red hot Toronto Blue Jays as well at home, big crowd. Take the Jays over the Cubs. Yankees always beat up on the Twins, no matter what year it is, no matter what decade it is. Yankees you never know. You know how I feel about my Yankees right now, but take the Yankees to win, and then the Mariners red hot against a not very good Baltimore team on the road. So you got Toronto, the Yankees, and the Mariners on the road. Put down 20, win yourself $179.80 over there at Bodog. Play safely, play a lot, and but make sure you play smart. Anyways, that's the 14:20 in the afternoon for this Tuesday, second one of the week. Here we go. It's Tuesday afternoon. Enjoy your night, folks. Enjoy the games. Thanks for watching live here on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to all 3. And well, then, if you listen on the podcast form, talk to people about the show. Anyways, have a great evening. We'll talk to you tomorrow. And remember, it doesn't matter where you are. It's who you're with. Have a good night, folks. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning into the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. 4 Beer Sports Talk and a whole lot more, brought to you by SeatGeek. Go to bellyupsports.com for the best of sports articles and podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel or wherever it is you get your podcast. Let's get in.